Hi, my name is Bree Hand. I'm an English journalism major and I traveled to London.
I'm Will Ford. I'm an English teaching major and I also traveled to London.
Awesome. So before you left, what were you most excited for / most nervous for?
Nervous?
Yeah.
Okay. I was definitely nervous about making new friends because we already did that sort of freshman year, and you didn't want to have to do it all over again. And it's just sort of am I going to find friends? Am I going to be okay? I'm going to be in this whole other part of the world by myself. So that was kind of worrisome. But I was definitely looking forward to just being in a metropolis, a city, because Durham is sort of in the middle of nowhere. So being in the city and having all of our resources at our hands and fingertips, that was really great. So I was definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think my greatest fear too was not finding any friends, which is funny because we ended up meeting our main group of friends at the airport.
When our flight was canceled flying over.
Yeah, so that fear was immediately alleviated. But yeah, I think the thing for me was I didn't really want to be traveling around by myself and wandering the city alone. I wanted people to share it with, so we lucked out that way. And then I think the thing I was most excited for was just kind of the culture of London, because I've never really lived in a city before. I'm from New Hampshire. I've always kind of stayed here, so it was just going to be this whole new experience. And I don't know, what I loved the best was just having something to do. Every day there was always something that you could have gone.
You could have done something different every minute of every day and never repeated yourself for the 4 months that you were there.
So crazy. Did you guys experience any culture shock when you were over there?
I think when you first get there, it's very, very confusing because, being in Durham, everybody's just sort of doing their own thing, and it's just not a very fast-paced community, but London is very, very, very quick, and they have very established social cues that are different from ours. You always walk, for instance, on the escalators in the tube, you always stand on the right and you walk on the left. And if you're standing on the left, they will get so mad at you.
Yeah, they'll yell, they'll push and yell.
Yeah, they're not happy. Or for instance, in public, they don't talk very loudly. They're very hushed. Whereas in America, we're always loud. We're very, very loud, and you stand out immediately because, especially at night when you're going out and stuff, you're very loud.
Yeah.
So
if you're riding the tube, you're not supposed to talk. Everyone just kind of stands there and avoids eye contact with each other and doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But then you had us, so we're this big group of
Americans
kind of
just
drunk
being
kids,
so loud,
just kind of yelling on the tube. People hated us.
But so yeah, just sort of things like that, and just the lingo too, that you'd never imagine how much slang they have or how many idioms and euphemisms that are just different than ours. So I think picking those up and then knowing how to use them correctly in conversation is definitely.
Yeah, for sure. What were some of the best parts of the experience? I know there's a lot, but.
Well, for me, whenever I talk about it, I think that the best part was going to see all the shows for free. Even not for free, there's just so many things you can do. Because we took a musical theater class that basically paid for us to go see 6 shows, and 3 of them were West End productions of the shows,
so
which
good.
is just something you don't get to do for free. And we kept going life is never going to get any better than this.
And it won't.
And I think I counted, I think I saw 12 shows?
Yeah, something
12 or
up there.
something shows over the course I was there. So that was just really cool because that's something I love and just, makes me incredibly happy. And just having that, waking up today and going, oh, maybe I'll go see Wicked tonight.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Casual.
You never get to say that around here.
For me, it's just waking up and just being in the city and just be you know what, I'm just going to go to Oxford Street and go shopping today and just have this huge street, sort of equivalent to Times Square in New York City or something, where you're just all these different places to shop or to eat or to do anything, anything you could ever have wanted to do in that day. You could just walk out the front door, get on the bus or the tube, and just go do it. It was just so the city was just so at your disposal, so it was great.
And I think too, obviously we loved London to death, but having the opportunity to go to so many other places while we were there, it was just, this weekend I'm oh, maybe I'll go to Portsmouth, and when we were over there I was yeah, maybe I'll pop over to France this weekend.
Yeah.
It was just you'd leave for a 3-day weekend and you would go to Belgium or you'd go to Scotland
or Paris,
and it was just it just doesn't get better than
that. And the thing is you wouldn't have to spend an arm and a leg either, or you wouldn't have to pack that much, just because it's a hop, skip, and a jump from over there, and from here it's hundreds of dollars to fly that far, but there it's just not. It was just so easy. so inexpensive. Not inexpensive, but just less expensive.
Less expensive. And were there any things that you wish someone had told you before you went, to avoid? Were there any negative experiences there?
For me, it was definitely the homesick part of it. Like, the whole trip flies by faster than any semester ever. It's just like by the time you get used to being there, it's like almost over. So I think I spent a lot of time in the beginning wishing I had been back in America, and I wish that now I had told myself, like, don't, because I wish now that I could be back there.
Right.
So I think that just sort of getting over that homesickness really quick, like much more quicker, would have been great. So.
Yeah. I think for me, like, the biggest thing I wish I'd known would be financially, like how quickly you could blow through your money. And it would be on stuff that you wouldn't really expect. Like, we would take the tube everywhere, and that was like what, like
so expensive.
Like $2.50.
It's
pretty much
£2 essentially every time you get on,
every time you get
which
on,
is almost $4,
which adds up really quickly, especially since we were going on like class trips and we'd go to shows and
just
we'd go
during the
around
day.
ourselves and stuff like that. Just added up really quickly, and I don't think you realize that because you're like, oh yeah, my trip to France cost me this much, but you don't really factor that stuff in. Mm-hmm. So
like transportation in London, like on the tube and the buses itself, probably cost us close to over $500 easily for the whole time we were there, just because it's so expensive.
Yeah, but then again, you also want to balance between this is like a once in a lifetime opportunity, right. And you have a certain amount of money for a reason, so sometimes you just have to be like, screw it.
It's like I don't regret spending a dime that I spent over there. Like everything that I did, everything that I spent, everything was so worth it. I would never change it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks.